Hello everybody, welcome to Schedule 1. This is just a one-off video. I wanted to show you how I managed a 9 mixture setup in the Stash and Dash and how easy it is to manage something like this and how compact you can make it by utilizing this design. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through my day as a flavoring artist in our game. I am playing multiplayer, so I do have my partner out there running around doing the thing. But you can do this in single player. All you have to do is pause your production after building up a large stockpile and then just spending some time to do this. We're going to go ahead and say hi to Greg because he is our neighbor. He's not always cranky. He's got particular days that work better for him, so I like saying hi to him, see how he's feeling. I feel like Greg gets a little bit of hate that is undeserved. He's just, he's got good days and bad days. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and put our bed away, grab out our packager. You don't necessarily need to do this, but because of the fact that we have ours already pressed, we're going to need to unpress it. Our 3-time Salesperson of the Year award-winning head of distribution comes by to remind us about our daily quota. I give her the old yeah, and then she pulls out a bat to remind me that any marks will go down on my permanent record. That record, of course, being my face. Now, this is a step you don't necessarily have to do because of the fact that our raw input is packaged, already pressed. We have to unpress it in order to start, but if yours isn't pressed, then obviously you don't need to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by loading up a large storage rack, completely full, and you want to do this as much as you can. Get yourself a good solid starting point. 8 is the ideal number. With a full storage rack, it'll make a nice even product. Definitely get yourself a jukebox. You're going to be spending all day in here and gets a little quiet. So we begin the process by pulling out the first ingredient and combining it with the input. Then we are going to repeat that step by loading it up so that way once that one finishes, we can immediately start the next one. As you see here, we've got signs in the back that are numbered in the step order with the ingredient, so therefore you'll never forget. Even if you have empty shells, even if it's been months since you've played, you'll still be able to remember the mixture. So now, one of the important steps in this process is that we are going to load up our mixers early, and I'm just going to speed through this, but we take the ingredient out. Always make sure to take it from the rack behind it. Even if you're using repeat ingredients, don't grab it from anywhere else except for the dedicated storage rack. I have the shopping list here, but I actually came up with an easier one that I'll show you at the end of the thing. But I highly recommend putting that there, especially if you pick this up after a long time of not playing, because sometimes you just get into the flow of how much you need to order for any particular brand, and so it's easy to just pick that up once again. This next part isn't required, but when you have a creation that is renowned as it can be, it's nice to have positive critic reviews on here. You can pause here to see the production that we are making and the effects that it gives, as well as some locals' opinions on it. We also spent our hard-earned money on some fine art. It's good to keep ourselves mentally stimulated as we sit here playing the waiting game as each mixture goes. The fun part is that we have 9 machines. I would recommend 8. I think 8 is a better balance for it, but because of the fact that we wanted to add the glowing effect, we had to add an extra mixer. But as you see here, this Stash and Dash does accommodate for 9. There are other setups for this, but I felt that the submarine design kind of was the most efficient, at least for an 8. You can get a little more space in the front by using fewer machines, because that last one could be, another storage rack, or it could be the press that you don't have to put it away. Either way, you play around with this design. There's not really a map that I need to give you. It's just simply put the storage rack behind it with. You can start with that center one right at the back, and then you can build around there and get the right proportions. But anyways, we are going to go ahead and keep moving. As you see here, we're actually loading in from our hotbar first, our inventory, and then pulling out the output. And that assures us that we don't grab the wrong item and mess up the process. So it's a nice little safety to keep you in line. But as we see here, we are rounding out of the raw input, and we are going to be finishing up the beginning stages of this soon. So just, keep going, put each piece into the next step as you go along. Don't worry about refilling the machine until you finish. And then you can work your way from the back or the front. It doesn't matter. I like to work my way back to the beginning because then I can pick up from the input shelf yet again. You may be asking yourself how it is so bright in here, and that is because we use these little wall lamps, and you can actually place them on the ceiling. They're a little funky. I didn't place them well enough, but that was a while ago. But yeah, that's how I managed to get so much light in here. So, I don't know if everyone talks about the fact that you can put wall lamps on the ceiling, so there's another little tip for you. But anyways, we're just going to keep going. Essentially, you have the process here. I would, you can technically leave if you'd like. I do show some of the stats on pricings and all that, as well as the final output, and you get to see how much was created and when it gets finished by, because that's the beauty of this, is it's actually a fairly quick process, which is why I mentioned that you can indeed do this in single player mode. The only difference is that you have to take some time to do this, obviously. Can't be spending all day running around town as well as keeping up with this process. As you see here, it can be very quick as long as you use your time wisely and keep the flow going. So we now have nothing left on the input, so we're going to take a quick look at what we're making entirely. You can pause the video to see the numbers here, but essentially we increased the asking price by 1.5%, and we don't ever have to haggle, because even with that price increase at a full loyalty, they will indeed spring for a little more anyways. Even people like Chloe will be happy. So once again, we're just going through the process, but now we're focusing a little bit more on the later half. As you see here, we are running out of materials, our last cuke, and our first machine will not be refilled because there's nothing to do it. You can keep the process going, you can make it continual. Let's go ahead and reorder the first two supplies, and they'll come in a little bit. You can make it continue. You can just have your supplies always coming in, your raw ingredients always coming in, but that becomes a little bit of a juggling game. You got to make sure that you are paying attention to how much you have and what goes where, because oftentimes you may find yourself in a backed up situation where you have ingredients in the van out on the loading dock, but no place to put them, or just off on your ordering. So I like to do this at one storage rack at a time. Just do 8 and then refill and go from there. So now we are putting it through. Our secondary ingredients are gone, so we're just going to be pushing it through. And now we finally have our first finished output of the day, and it did take quite a bit, but after this the rest of them will come very quickly. This is my favorite song, and this is the favorite part of it. As much as I would have loved to include the game music in this video, I just I didn't want to step on the toes of the actual creator. I feel like their channel would be a better place to listen to the music, but definitely go check out that Abandoned Feeling, and 1 minute and 23 seconds in it becomes the banger that it is. But anyways, let's go ahead and handle this real fast, get back onto the process. We do have an award-winning head of distribution, but occasionally we will have to take matters into our own hands. This is our award-winning product. It's very fun to see. We wanted to add the glowing effect because people are hard to see at night, and glowing makes things very easy at a distance. But anyways, let's go ahead and continue. We are now done with ingredient number 3, put in the last process of 4, and I realized I forgot to stock up my machines with the ingredients beforehand. So now I am having to take the time to do that. So what we do instead is we grab 2 of each of the ingredients, fill them up into the standard part, begin the process, and then add the one for the next step. So a very critical part of the process is to make sure that the machines are stocked early. That just keeps it going fast. However, as you see here, it's not the at the end of the world if they don't. As the person doing the mixing, you are going to spend most of your time in here, especially once you get deep enough into the game where your creations have as many mixtures as they do here. But, you know, it just goes to show, even with, no matter what the input is, no matter what type of material you use, it is easy to manage large numbered mixtures if you have a person who is dedicated to that role and, you know, who enjoys this sort of thing. It becomes very easy, a very meditative process. You just go through the steps until it is done, and it takes about the whole day, but easy enough. So this is an order. I could have put this in a lot earlier. I could have put this in directly after the other one. There was no need to wait this long. That was a little silly of me. But nonetheless, doesn't matter all that much, especially since we are as stocked up as we are, which I can show you that at the end of the episode. So now we have a full small storage rack. And like I mentioned, if you don't have that 9th mixture, that is only half of a large storage rack. However, because of the fact that we are now running out of room with this particular design that I have, we're going to go ahead and get our press out and put these back into a press form just for better storage. We are at the point in our game where we are making more quantity than we can handle, and so therefore it is just wiser to have better storage there. But if you're not doing anything like that, if you don't need to press it at all, obviously that is a step you don't need, and having someone come by and pick up the finished bits after just occasionally throughout the day can also save you some of that storage space as well. So our ingredients have arrived with clear hands. We can just easily fill up a large shelf all at once. And like I mentioned, if I had ordered the piece on time, I could go fill up the second shelves, but I decided to wait. But now I can go ahead and put in the order for the 5th and 6th ingredients, the 3rd order. Keeping everything going, keeping the process moving quickly. And as you see here, we are now out of all of our steps except for the final one. We're going to be building these last 2 right now. I noticed on my phone that it is indeed after midnight, now Monday morning, which means that I can now make my weekly deposit. Oh, hello, Elizabeth. Oh, shoot. I did not bring my skateboard, so I will have to make sure they don't see me because I can't glitch my way through the door here. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and make our way back in. I like the location of this property because it's just so central to everything. We're going to go ahead and finish this off, make sure everything is neat and organized. There's not a lot of space in this place. I find that part of the challenge. I like dealing with the limitations of it, and the fact that it is just an unfettered rectangle gives you a lot of opportunity to play around with many different designs. So as we see here, we finished off the day, completing all 8 of that. Here's a bonus tip for first-person skating. Hold V to look at your character, and then drop onto your skateboard, and you will be in first person as long as you don't click away. Then you just have to do it again. But yeah, first-person skating. It's been in the game for a while. I just don't see anybody talking about it, so I've been wanting to mention it for a little while now, but haven't had the desire to make a full video about it. So as you see here, we are fully loaded at this point. We are, like I mentioned, we are now in the late game. So, oh, hello. Proud to report that the order has been fully handled and the invoice has been sent. Full storage rack at your disposal. But that was the tick over for 4 a.m. It just happened as we were talking in there, so I am going to go ahead and head back. Obviously, you know, you can abuse the time all you want, but for now it is time for me to say goodbye and say goodnight. We're going to go ahead and plop our bed down here and bring this episode to a close. So I'm not going to be pursuing Schedule 1 content. I just wanted to share an idea of a design to help a particular person out. So thank you so much for allowing me the chance to do it. But anyways, that's where I'm going to leave today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did think about subscribing, drop me a like, let me know your thoughts, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.